Now on the Locked On Celtics podcast, Jayson Tatum still wishy-washy. Come on, Jason. And the things we need to see from the Celtics after the All-Star break.
Locked On Celtics pod, home of the winners.
Hey there, welcome back to the Locked On Celtics podcast right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, where it is your team every day. Your team is the Boston Celtics. I talk about them Monday through Friday, plus bonus podcasts when they play on weekends, and bonus podcasts coming up throughout the week just because. So make sure you're subscribed. This show is available everywhere. It's on YouTube. Get into the comment section. Share your thoughts with your fellow Celtics fans and me. Let me introduce myself. I'm John Karalis, beat writer covering the Celtics for Sports Illustrated Celtics on SI. I have been doing a version of this job for about 20 years now. This podcast is 10 years old, and I've written a couple books about the team. Today, later on, we're going to spend the second and third segments getting into things we need to see from the Celtics after the All-Star break. They're coming back. They're playing out west. Individually, Jaylen Brown, Payton Pritchard, Derrick White. What do we need to see from these guys? But we're going to start, and I say we because it's me and Tom Westerholm.
What's up?
There we go. We're good. Hey, how you doing?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah, good. All right. Applause out of the way. Now, once again, Jayson Tatum through was it Ramona Shelburne? I'm still not sure. I'm not guaranteeing I'm coming back. Still don't know if I'm going to come back or not. Can we stop with this? It doesn't matter who asks, how many times we ask, how we ask. He's never going to say, I'm coming back on this day. He's never going to say, I'm coming back. Can we just move past this? It's no longer a story. He can't be committal to it because you don't know if something's going to happen in tomorrow's scrimmage or I don't know, Tom. I hear this report and it's just becoming like enough already. Tell me when he's playing.
Yeah, I mean, it feels a little bit like, trying to be like, I'll be there. I'll make it there tomorrow. I'm driving cross country. I'll make it there tomorrow as long as I don't have car problems. And it's like, well, yeah, obviously we know that if you have car problems, you might not be there tomorrow. Like we get that. The hope is that you won't have car problems and you're on track. Google Maps says that you're going to get there tomorrow. So we're just kind of following what Google Maps says. We don't need the disclaimer every time of if you have car trouble, right? Like I think
sorry, Tom, go ahead.
No, but you go ahead. Cause I think we're going to get there. I think the car is going to work.
The reason I interrupt is the thing is we don't have in that scenario you laid out people along the way who are saying, well, you said you'd be here. Well, you said you'd be here. And you, the normal person will say, yeah, I get it. If you just say, oh man, I promised you I was going to come, but then my car broke down. You're like, yeah, man, that happens.
Yeah.
And in this scenario, it'd be very easy for him to be like, I hope to come back by early March. But, rehab, you just don't know. There's always the possibility of a setback. I'm not sure if I'm going to be ready. I'm hoping to be back by early March, but it might not be early March. It might not be at all, but this is what I'm hoping for. That's what people want. But he's not going to say it. He's just not going to say it. We know he's not going to say it. So let's just stop.
Right. And let's be abundantly clear very quickly, very early on, which is he doesn't owe us that. Like us as in this podcast, us as in, members of the media. He doesn't owe fans that. He doesn't owe anybody anything that he doesn't want to give them. He is so within his own rights to be like, I don't know if I'm coming back or not. Like valid, extremely fair. I also think that as people who talk about Tatum and think about Tatum and his recovery and all that stuff, I think that we are within our rights to look at him dropping the first episode of a documentary and all of the little tea leaves that he's left along the way and just the recovery updates that we've gotten, because it's not like we haven't heard from him or the Celtics or anything like that, right? It's, we just heard we made it through Toledo. Right. We made it through Toledo. We're, coming up on we're starting to get some mile markers along the way from the team. And quite honestly, getting closer and closer to that destination. Right. We're getting There was a Jayson Tatum meeting with the media. There was a press release that said that he went to Maine. All of these things are mile markers that are getting a heck of a lot closer to return this season than the alternative. And again, car trouble happens. Like we're not saying it's going to happen, and Tatum certainly isn't going to say that it's going to happen. But yeah, it's just. In your
scenario, are you going west to east? So is Toledo, Ohio, on the way?
It's on the way from Boston to Michigan. So I just kind of threw that one out there because Toledo would be almost back to Michigan,
Sure. Okay.
So that was it was just kind of
you weren't doing St. Louis. And now we're going to make it to Toledo and we're going to get to Boston. That's
halfway through that metaphor. I was like, am I doing cross country? Am I going New York to LA? What am I doing?
What are we doing here?
And then I just kind of was Toledo, other cities. So
yeah.
I got a little mixed up with that one. To be clear, that one was Boston to Muskegon, Michigan.
Yeah. A drive that you've done
many times. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Fair enough. I know. I'm just trying to lock in that metaphor. Just trying to, because you never know if Jason's going to break down somewhere around Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
Right. Well, and here's the thing. I think in my metaphor, it feels like we've passed Toledo, is what I would say. Right. It feels like
Toledo.
We're getting close to Grand Rapids, which is quite close to Muskegon.
I mean, I feel like at this point now I'm going the other way. In my scenario, we're going west to east. We're making it to Boston. So that's
probably better for the Locked On Celtics listeners. Yes.
Yeah. So if we're somehow have passed Toledo, I think he's right now getting through New York City traffic.
You know what I think what we should do is we should do the Pike, right? So it's where is he on what exit? Where is he on the Pike? I don't know.
So he could probably avoid New York City traffic because then you'd go up north. Wow, this is really fun podcasting. This is where Tatum is, though. We are trying to figure out is he in the Berkshires? Has he crossed into Massachusetts, or is he still somewhere in Albany? Where are we here on this road trip, this theoretical road trip? Where is he going to run out of gas? Is a flat tire going to happen? And that's why he's non-committal. But you can't. My honest opinion is I just feel like he's maintaining some level of mystery so he can still have the big reveal. We know what's happening. The reveal is the secret is basically out, but he still needs some level of mystery to be ha, I am coming back. And yeah, buddy, we knew you were coming back. I didn't tell you I was. Yeah, we always knew. And I still think he needs that kind of thing. But there is still it's all still rehab. You can, have a hamstring thing. You never know what's going to happen in the rehab. We presume it's all going to go according to plan, and we'll see him in early March. That's whether it's March 1st or 4th or 6th or whatever, but
we'll see him February 27 is when we'll see him. But which means I would say he's in Worcester at this point. 10 days out, I think he's made it to Worcester. But
if that's the case, man, he's pulled over at a rest stop eating a D'Angelo's number 9. That's the only place you can get a D'Angelo's sub is at one of those rest stops at the Pike. But
get some Gardettos and hit the road again. You'll be all right.
Yeah. I gotta call up the D'Angelo's folks. That seems like an easy sponsorship to have.
Yeah.
All right. So Tatum is one of the things that we're watching for post All-Star break. But what are the other things we need to see from the Celtics? Big names, role players. That's all coming up next. Today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. If you want to get yourself to the NBA Finals, you can log on to FanDuel, and they might help you do that because they're giving you a chance to turn that dream into a reality with their NBA sweepstakes. You just got to use a profit boost on any NBA future, and you'll automatically be entered for a shot to go to the NBA Finals. A fully paid flights, tickets, whole experience trip for 2 to the NBA Finals. So If you're thinking about which team's going to make a deep run, who's going to get to the conference finals, who's going to win MVP, whatever these futures bets you want to make, the championships, conference titles, all that stuff, it's fun. It's exciting to see if that, cashes in, but it could also send you to the NBA finals. So you got to go to fanduel.com to get started. Use your profit boost on an NBA future and get entered for your chance to win a trip to the NBA finals. When you log in, they will ask you, set your limit, set your budget. Please do that so you can gamble responsibly. FanDuel will help you do that. Play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Today's show is also brought to you by Quo. It's a new year. There are new systems. And this is when we look at the messier parts of how we run our businesses and think there has to be a better way. Streamlining your communications with one of the quickest upgrades you can make. That's why today's episode is brought to you by Quo, spelled Quo, the smarter way to run your business communications. When your team is reachable, organized, and communicating in one place, you're not working just cleaner. You're creating more opportunities to connect with customers. I know when I call a customer service line, when I'm trying to talk to a company, if they're not organized and they're not communicating from a shared number, if they're not communicating from the same page, I'm done. I'm looking for a new business to deal with. And your whole team can do all that with Quo. Everyone sees the full conversation thread. It makes replies faster and more personal. It's all done right from your phone or computer. You can keep your existing number, and with Quo's smart AI tools, automatically logging calls, summarizing conversations, and highlighting next steps, a detail never slips through the cracks. It's no surprise Quo is the number one rated business phone system on G2, trusted by more than 90,000 businesses from solo operators to growing teams. Make this the year where no opportunity and no customer slips away. Try Quo, Quo, for free. Plus, get 20% off your first 6 months when you go to quo.com/LockedOnNBA. Quo.com/LockedOnNBA. Quo, no missed calls, no missed customers. Thanks for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. We got a Locked On for every team. If you're a New England fan, Locked On Patriots, Locked On Bruins, Locked On Red Sox. If you're a fan of other teams, if you're one of those folks that just is in another city and you happen to like the Celtics, check out a Locked On for your favorite other team. We have them available everywhere, so check those out wherever you found this podcast. Tom, All-Star break is just about over. This is the Wednesday show. Thursday night, they play in Golden State. Yeah. Reunited with Al Horford. That's nice. Yeah. I wonder if Al's going to be like, take me with you. Bring me back. I want to come back.
Wouldn't be the first time. Hey-o.
Listen, man, I love Al Horford to death. I'm glad he got his championship ring.
Absolutely.
There's like a tiny bit of like, is there an Al Horford curse when he goes to Philly and it's not his fault, but like Philly fell apart. You go to Golden State now after you leave Boston and that kind of fell apart. Maybe not leaving Boston should have stuck around.
Yeah.
But anyway.
No, let's spend 25 minutes talking about it. I think there's
man. I think Boston Celtics fans are very much grabbing their torches and pitchforks and want to hear us trash Al Horford for leaving.
I think that's what it is. I think everybody's over that guy.
It's about time. It's about time someone had the guts to just trash the most professional, nicest guy in the world for making what seemed at the time a very strong,
reasonable
decision. But let's do it. Let's trash this guy. Let's look at what do we need to see from the Celtics in the second half. If they make it to the finals, if they make a deep run, this truly is halftime. They've played 50-something games. You play 100-something when you get to the champion. So, this could actually be – we hope it's the second half of the season. So what's tops on your list?
Yeah, I think the number one on my list is figuring out the big rotation. I think that's going to be I think that's really I mean, like, obviously setting aside anything Tatum related, I think, right? That's obviously not what we're talking about here. I think to me, the biggest thing is I want to see what happens with the bigs. I want to see, does Nemi head to the bench? I think so. I think probably.
That makes sense. Yes.
I wasn't sold on it at first because I kind of liked the idea of, Pritchard and Vucevic coming off the bench and just like killing
Sure.
second units. I thought there was some utility to that, but I think I really that Bulls game really changed. Just seeing the amount of space that Vucevic had, I was kind of blown away. And I think realistically just really felt that healthy Porzingis vibe from him in that regard. At least on the offensive end. So I'm really curious to see how that goes. I'm really curious to see how Vucevic starts to fit in. I think that he could just be such a big weapon for this offense. I think, can Queta keep doing this off the bench? Because if so, if they can have some kind, like a similar level of plus minus success of just very clearly he comes in and just does wonders for the defense and holding everything together and rebounding and all that stuff. If bringing Vucevic in and having Queta there to help with the rebounding a little bit coming off the bench, if that all kind of coalesces, I mean, I think we're looking at something really cool. And I think Garza, I mean, I feel bad for him. I'm curious to see if the Celtics can find something of a role for him, carve out some minutes for him somewhere. I mean, I think there's something to be had, especially that, in moments down the stretch where they just need guys to play. Somebody might be resting, but anyway, I think the big rotation is one for me where I'm really interested to see where that goes.
Well, let me ask this question. Do we actually think that a rotation of Vooch starting, let's just presume he's starting, Vooch, Queta, and Garza as your third string big, is that enough next year with Vooch being 30, he's 35 now, he's 36 at some point next season. Is that enough? Is that good enough with the, Tatum and Brown and presumably, White and Pritchard and, Guy signed with the full mid-level and Guy traded for with the Simons traded player exception? Is that enough? Because if you say yes, then that changes who you try to sign with that mid-level. It changes who you're trading for with that $27.7 million, or who is available for 27.7 and who is available for the mid-level impacts how that big rotation ends up being next year. So I think to pile onto your point, figuring it out and figuring out if it works could influence the decision-making on what to do with those tools to acquire players over the summer. If they sit there and say, yeah, Vooch, man, we love him. We think he's great. Nemi, great, off the bench now. Garza, effective enough as a third string guy where you keep him on the minimum. And you have, Queta is on a minimum, Garza's on a minimum, and you could get Vooch for as low as the minimum at this point in his career. Maybe I think no higher than $5 or $6 million. Mm-hmm. But even that, you're looking at 3 centers for $10 million. Yeah. Which I mean,
realistically, that feels like the amount of money that this Celtics team should probably be spending on centers, right? They're so good at getting value out of cheap centers. And it's like, yeah, like put all your money into all the other guys. Like just keep that center budget pretty low.
How about this scenario? Since I'm going to get way off track, way off the monorail, so to speak, for people who are looking at my shirt. How about Vooch being good enough? Like, yeah, let's give him, whatever that little bit of money is, and all that stuff I said works. And hey, mid-level, how about Anthony Simons at the mid-level? Hey, he's coming back. He said he's open to coming back. He'd like to come back.
From your lips to God's ears is what I have to say about that.
And so now all of a sudden,
your lips to Brad's ears is what I mean to say. I apologize.
Same thing. Now what about a scenario where you bring Simons back at the mid-level, $15 million, and now you've got the Simons traded player. You have Simons and the exception that is essentially a shadow of Simons to trade for somebody who can be, I don't know, anybody. It could could even be Anthony Simons. No, it could be. So I think there's a scenario there where like everything you're saying does kind of like it could be the most pivotal thing to shaping what this summer is.
Yeah.
Which also just gave me an idea for something I'm going to write for Sports Illustrated after this. So
well, you're welcome. But yeah, no, I mean, I think the fun thing about it, right, is it's not only does it have these massive ripple effects, it also is going to have a huge impact on how far the Celtics go in the playoffs, right? This is, I think, one of the, it's one of the biggest non-Tatum storylines because it does, it will really give us a hint as to how far this team can go and then what happens next and all of that stuff. So, yeah, the bigs are big.
They're big.
You're welcome.
Yeah, there you go. I'm going to focus on Jaylen Brown as what I want to see post All-Star for a couple of reasons, which I will explain when we come back. Today's show is brought to you by Indeed. Hiring is tough, and you don't want to just hope that somebody stumbles into your lap as you're dealing with deadlines and workplace chaos and an overflowing inbox and a stack of resumes that's like this high, and it's tough. It's tough. I've been there. I've seen that stack of resumes and it's just been like, sigh. Indeed Sponsored Jobs actually helps you reach the people who fit with what you're looking for: skills, experience, locations. So you're not just hoping for the right candidate. In the minute that I'm going to be talking to you here, companies like yours made 27 hires on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. So spend less time searching and more time interviewing candidates who check all your boxes with Indeed Sponsored Jobs. It's stress-free, time-saving, and you get more results. When you need the right person to cut through the chaos, this is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs. Listeners of this show, you get $75 in sponsored job credits to help you get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. Just go to Indeed.com/podcast right now and support the show by saying you heard about it on this podcast. Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? This is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs. Thanks for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. You're an everydayer. You're with me every Monday through Friday. You're here for the bonus podcast. Why not join the Locked On Celtics Everydayer Club? You get access to ad-free audio. I put out an ad-free version, so you didn't hear all of the stuff I just said for the last minute and a half. With this ad-free version, it's compatible with Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and every other major podcasting app. You've got the Everydayer Club Discord server, a group chat for Celtics listeners and NBA fans. So go check that out. Plus a whole lot more at lockedonceltics.supercast.com, lockedonceltics.supercast.com. I'll have the link in the show notes as well. All right, let's get back to the conversation here with Tom Westerholm. And Tom, I think my top thing is I want Jaylen Brown. There's two versions of what I need Jaylen Brown to do in post All-Star. Number one is when Jayson Tatum comes back, I need him and Jayson Tatum to figure out how to merge their skills at full strength. There's going to be an adjustment. And I do think that both Tatum and Brown are going to have to make some tweaks to their games to accommodate what Brown has become, what Tatum is currently with his injury, and moving forward. They have to get on the same page. I have no questions about that. I'm not going to expand on it because I've said this before. I trust them to do so. They're professionals. They're champions. They're high-level, high IQ guys. They will do it. In the meantime, I want Jaylen to get back to some of the efficiency that he was experiencing at the beginning of the season. The mid-range shot has kind of gotten away from him a little bit. Those percentages have dipped below that range. I know when we were talking to him, and it was like Atlanta, I think, he was like, yeah, people always used to tell me don't shoot the mid-range, and now they're telling me to shoot them as much as I want. And that was great when you were shooting 50% at the mid-range, but now that's dipped into the mid to low 40s, and that's not where the efficiency lies. And so if you're going to do it, fine, do it. Make that your signature shot. They have to start falling again at a good enough rate for the offense to be clicking the way it should be clicking. So I just want Jaylen to be more efficient. And part of that is just making sure that you are getting everybody involved, making sure that you're not trying to do too much.
Yeah.
I do think that he sometimes falls back into a bad old habit of trying to do too much because like Derrick White's shots aren't falling and the other guy's shots aren't falling and the team is shooting 17% from three. And he's like, all right, I'm going to do the Superman thing and go out there. But the Superman thing for Jaylen is drawing the defense and kicking. Yeah. That's your superpower. It's not going up against three guys and scoring over everybody. It's you've done your job. You've drawn the 2-on-1, sometimes 3-on-1. Boom, kick it. Let's move it. Go get it back and do that. Because when he does that, that's all NBA Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
So that I just kind of want to see him get back to that.
Yeah. The thing about Jaylen's mid-range is that early in the season, what was working, and honestly, midway through the season, I think, let's be clear, that stretch of basketball was long. Like, it was not an outlier stretch of basketball. I think that's why he got himself into MVP conversations, is because he made those mid-range shots at a super efficient clip long enough that everybody had to be like, whoa, This guy is hitting a lot of freaking mid-range shots. A huge part of that for him, and the number one biggest thing to me was that he was getting to his spots and creating the space to make those easy shots for him. Getting the shots wasn't easy. Creating that shot isn't easy, or everybody would do it. He just was doing it so well that the shot then was easy. Those mid-range shots are easy if you're that open. And I think the thing for Jaylen is if you get to that spot and you're not open, chances are something has collapsed somewhere else to prevent you from getting that shot that you want. So you need to be able to find that and be willing to find that every time. And if you do that, that is how you stay in the MVP conversation, right? Because then you're going to start racking up assists. And look, I mean, I think, that Knicks game, I mean, he created a lot of opportunities for people that missed. And that has happened to him sometimes this year.
Sure.
He's had games where he has created stuff for people and they just brick their way through it. And hey, you know what? Like you were saying, right? If Derrick White is missing shots, of course, Jaylen's going to be like, all right, well, maybe I'll take a couple more, see if that works. Maybe they're not great shots. I don't think that it's all Jaylen's fault when he does, take a few too many shots or whatever it might be. But I think that's the biggest thing. And I think that's one of the areas where Vucevic coming in could make a really big difference, is having that other offensive outlet that you can just pitch the ball to and say, yep, go. All right. I attracted some defensive attention. Here's the ball, get a bucket. And obviously Tatum coming back would have a similar effect. But yeah, to me, I think that's the biggest thing is if you've created the shot effectively, it's going to be an easy shot. And if it's not an easy shot, you got to dump it to somebody because he puts so much pressure on that defense that something is probably cracking to stop him. So exploit that.
So I'm doing, as you're talking, I'm doing the I'm looking at the potential assists. Jaylen Brown is averaging almost 9 potential assists per game. So which Derrick White and Payton Pritchard are at 9.6. Jaylen is at 8.8. And that just goes to show, like, none of these guys, like, there's a lot of bad shooting that's been happening. So he's at 4.7 assists per game. That's a pretty good. In fact, you know what? I'm just going to do a quick, what was this last year? Because his potential assists last year were at 8.3. So, and he's making 32.5 passes a game last year. This year it's at 36. So he's passing the ball more. He has another half of a potential assist, but his actual assists are up too. Yeah. So he's moving the ball. He is moving the ball.
Yeah.
And so, yes, some of this is just bad shooting that, his assist numbers could be better. But I think, as is the case with Jaylen, he has, out of 10 games, 7 or 8 where you're like, man, dude is MVP, man, MVP candidate. Then he has 2 where you're like, okay, is this 2023? Like, what's going on here? Why are those turnovers happening again? Why isn't he making that pass now? And I just think that sometimes he just gets a little too tunnel visioned. But all I'm saying is just try to eliminate those as much as possible and get back to, the beginning of the season. But you definitely need to be, I want to see that efficiency come back so you can finish strong and, let's make some shots. Next one, we got a couple. Let's rapid fire. Anything quick?
Yeah, sure. Speed round. So I think I'm interested to see which of the wings, which of the backup wings guys, which one looks like he's going to be in the playoff rotation. You can't have, there's too many of them. There's too many of these tall dudes who play a little defense and knock down the occasional 3 running around out there. One of them is going to be in the playoff rotation. I think maybe 1.5,
I'm curious about that.
I'm fascinated to see who's going to be in there.
I wonder if anybody's going to be able to separate themselves. That's been the thing this season.
Yeah.
Where you're like, I'm hoping somebody separates themselves, and no one does. So which
is funny because a lot of times when nobody separates themselves, it's because everybody stinks. And it's like this year, everybody's been pretty good. Right. Nobody's been exceptionally good to where there's no question about it.
My rapid fire one is Payton Pritchard's return to the bench real? Like, are the return to the 6 man of the year numbers real? Because his splits already is a reserve in 5 games as a reserve. He's shooting 51.2% as compared to 45.6% as a starter. His 3-point shooting is 35% as a starter, 39.5% as a reserve. And that means he's averaging 21.8 points per game as a reserve versus 16.8 as a starter. And, the minutes are basically the same. He's just more assists per game, more points, better efficiency. Is that a real thing? Is Payton just built to be your bench guy?
I think that one of the things that we're learning this year is how many guys on last year's team were in the perfect role for themselves, right?
Yeah.
Like Derrick White was in the perfect role for himself last year. Payton Pritchard seems like he was in the perfect role for himself. Let's see what happens with Queta, right? But get Vucevic in there, get Tatum back, and all of a sudden everybody's just kind of back to like, okay, this is where I'm supposed to be. I am playing exactly the role that I was meant to play.
It's kind of funny. Obviously, getting Tatum back helps because you get Jayson Tatum back.
Of course.
But also it helps because of all the things you just say, like, and all of these guys go back to not having to do too much. Derrick White he's perfect in that role as the third guy with those other guys. He's just perfect in that role. Pritchard is perfect off the bench. It just all works.
Payton Pritchard as far as starting goes, he's like a 5.5. He's right on that cusp where he should be almost starting, but he's too good to be on the bench, but he's not quite. He should be he's right on that cusp, which makes him the perfect 6-man.
As a bench guy, oh my God. And there is so much glory to be had as a perennial 6-man of the year.
Especially the Boston Celtics.
Yeah. I mean, talk about all of a sudden you go from, think about this, man. Well, I'll end it on this, man. Pritchard just goes from a guy who's like, yeah, man, this is fun. And he's a guy that you go back and you're like, hey, man, he was a good player. If you excel in this role, all of a sudden you become part of the lore.
Yeah.
This is his way of becoming part of Celtics just folklore. Oh, the 6-man tradition. You go to Havlicek, you go to McHale, and Payton Pritchard. All of a sudden, your name is being mentioned with all of the greats because you went to the bench and you're good in that role.
He's even got his thing. Which is like the end of quarter shots. Oh man, McHale had like his drop step. He had all his post moves. Payton Pritchard, he had a half court shot in the finals. Like it is written in the stars for this man.
It's so funny. It's so funny that you can go from like, he's an NBA player. He's a solid NBA starter. And you're like, okay, you wonder, like, okay, he's a smaller guard. How long is his career going to be in this way? And the guy that's starting, that's averaging 16 points a game, like that's nice. That's nice. He's going to have a nice NBA career. It's not going to be a Hall of Fame career or anything like that, but it's nice. You move him to the bench. He's already won a 6-man of the year. If you can be in that conversation some more, I'm a big proponent of the Celtics creating a Hall of Fame. So you can properly, like, Isaiah Thomas belongs in the Celtics Hall of Fame. They're never going to retire his number. They shouldn't retire his number, but he belongs in a Celtics Hall of Fame.
100%.
Payton Pritchard can now become a Celtics Hall of Famer by moving to the bench and excelling in that role, which is nuts because most people will be like, I can't believe you want to move him to the bench. He's a starter. Like, no, actually, this move makes him a potential legend. So,
yeah.
All right. Well, I'll end there because we're at 35 minutes. So
every time.
Tom, appreciate you, man.
I appreciate you, man.
So that's the show today. Thank you so much for listening and for watching. Tomorrow I'll get into we'll look into some future moves and just talked a little bit about future moves. We'll get into some future moves with the next two. There's 2 roster spots that are open. So we'll talk about that in tomorrow's show. So make sure you're subscribed and all of that stuff. Watch the show on YouTube, get into the comment section there, and then share the podcast. Tell everybody that they should be listening to and watching the Locked On Celtics podcast here on the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day.